Good morning, everyone. This is Griptis, and for today, we are going to tackle the biodiversity and healthy society, the impact of biodiversity on various aspects of human life. Our planet Earth shares trillions of borrowed species. The different species of our plants and animals and the place they live is called biodiversity. Altogether, they give us all our needs in our life, like food, clear drinking water, crisp air, medicines, and provide us our homes. Biodiversity is like a safety net. We take into consideration the huge variety of animals and plants in our planet Earth as threads in the net. The more threads that adhere and intertwine, the net gets stronger, and the better nature can provide for us and last threats of a climate change. As a species, we must recognize the importance of preserving the natural environment and its living species in order to ensure our own survival. While some progress has been made in addressing certain environmental issues, much work remains to be done. Our objectives is first is to define what biodiversity is. Next is to explain the impact of biodiversity in various aspects of human life. Lastly is to apply how can we protect our environment. Before we present our collage presentation, let us first introduce our conceptual framework. The title of our collage is The Survival in the Face of Biodiversity. With the theme, we should recognize every scrap of biodiversity as beneficial while we learn to use it and fathom what it means to humanity. Group collage signifies that biodiversity is essential for the process that support all life on Earth, including humans. Without a wide range of animals, plants, and microorganisms, we cannot have the healthy ecosystems that we rely on to provide us with the air we breathe and the food we eat. And people also value nature of itself.
How would you reconcile the emerging need of human beings regarding their health and the need to protect the growth of biodiversity? First is support local organic farming. Compared with conventional agriculture, organic farming uses fewer pesticides, reduces soil erosion, decreases nitrate leaching into groundwater and surface water, and recycles animal waste back into the farm. These benefits are counterbalanced by higher food costs for consumers and generally lower yields. Establish small, local farms using polyculture and permaculture, practices that maximize food variety, quantity, and quality, reduces the need for transportation, thus shrinking the carbon footprint. Eat seasonally, increase acceptance of consuming seasonal, indigenous food species. Mass industrial production of corn, wheat, soybeans, and rice negatively impact biodiversity on a massive scale worldwide. Replacing those with native, non-GMO grains grown in smaller, localized co-ops and amid diverse plantings. Grow meat on grass. Replace industrial raised animals with managed, intensively rotated pastured livestock. Studies are already showing that this protocol increases biodiversity in the landscape, reduces the acreage of grain needed for livestock, process the meat at local butchering facilities for regional consumption, create agricultural pods in areas adjacent to large population zones. This might include hydroponic farming in abandoned factories, intensive farming on vacant lots, planting fruits in parks. So that's all, and thank you very much.
What are small ways that you think would promote safekeeping our biodiversity? So the first prerequisite for the biodiversity prevention, in my opinion, is to maintain a wide and healthy ecosystem. Of course, the size is determined by the animal size and the range required to meet its biological requirements. On a smaller scale, we need to promote biocorridor, the lake natural areas, such as bushes and trees in the middle agricultural landscape. So preserve quietness and give habitat is also possible as part of private gardens. Plants, flower plants that attract pollinator and etc. We must think systems and not forget how the food chains work. So there are six small ways to promote safekeeping biodiversity. So the first, do not throw garbage anywhere. And the second, recycle materials to become useful. And the third, planting trees in the riverside in the slopes. And the fourth, reporting illegal activities like dynamite fishing, logging, and the other activities. And the fifth, buying energy saving appliances to save energy. And the last, using bicycles as a substitute motorcycles or cars, especially when the destination is just a few blocks away. So thank you.
The common human activities that can harm biodiversity are first, deforestation. Tropical rainforests are particularly rich in biodiversity and are being destroyed. Deforestation and the destruction of forest habitat is the leading cause of extinction of the plants and animals. Next is pollution, such as the associated
with widespread pesticide use, and the overuse of fertilizers, which are 6 and 12 times greater than they were before in 1961 respectively. It is estimated that half of the species at risk are threatened by the agriculture. Also, the pollution from plastic waste, although it's a long-term effect on biodiversity, it is far from clear. Next is hunting and killing all the species of land plants and animals that live in forests, and the overexploitation of species such as in wild capture fisheries, but also for wildlife trade. Humans started to hunt for some animals that created an imbalance in the ecosystem, leading to loss of biodiversity. Next is climate change. As warming and changing rainfall patterns, alter species, ranges, and the underlying water and chemical cycles, which define current ecosystems in the ocean acidification are putting pressure on species already threatened by other human activities. That is the human activities that can harm the biodiversity.
One of the most dangerous and unsettling effects of deforestation is the loss of animals and plant species due to their loss of habitat. 70% of land animals and plant species live in forests. Not only does deforestation threaten species known to us, but also those unknown. Forests are some of the best natural climate solution we have on this planet. So if we can slow or stop deforestation and manage natural land so that it's healthy, we could achieve up to 1/3 of the emission reduction needed by 2030 to keep global temperatures from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius up to 3.6 degrees Celsius. In addition, pollution prevention protects the environment by conserving and protecting natural resources while strengthening economic growth through more efficient production in industry and less need for households, businesses, and communities to handle waste. Earth is, at least for the foreseeable future, the only home we have, and it is both our duty and our self-interest to take as good care of its natural environment as possible. If our own species is to survive, we have to pass the planet on to our descendants in at least as good as condition as we found it.
Therefore, biodiversity is essential for the processes that support all life on Earth and societal needs that contribute to overall being. Without the presence of living things and non-living things, we cannot have a healthy and safe living and cannot able to survive. So, the effects of human activities reminds us that now is the time to save our Earth. The consequences of how humans destroy the ecosystem serves as a wake-up call for us to do our part, which is to preserve and conserve our biodiversity as much as we can. If we can work on minimizing, if not totally stop, pollution of land, air, and water, then even in our small way, we can help preserve, protect, and conserve our biodiversity. To do so, saving our Earth must begin at home. A simple way of planting trees, recycling our garbage, and conserving water and energy can certainly save our Earth. We just need to put an effort, practice, and discipline ourselves to sustain the existence of all creatures.